Nick Caserio is the new general manager that we're talking about. And here's the way I look at this. If I were he, and I knew already I have to trade Deshaun Watson, I would be saying exactly what he's saying right now. I would be telling the world I'm not trading him. So do we have any insight as to whether or not they have privately come to the conclusion that Watson is not bluffing, that he's genuinely never coming back there, and that ultimately he will have to be dealt?
I don't think that front office has come to that conclusion, even privately. I think they still believe it can be patched up. The question, of course, is whether they're right, whether they're kidding themselves. But Nick Caserio took that job either knowing that this was going to happen or believing he was going to have Deshaun Watson at quarterback. Those are two very different things. And I think it's the latter. And if that's the case, he needs to recalibrate and get to a point where what's best for this franchise? Do we dig in our heels and call his bluff, or do we deal him and get the high draft picks that we've traded away, or my predecessor traded away the past couple of years?
It does make sense that he may not have known that because, frankly, it seems to have been his hiring, even if it isn't him in particular, that was the last straw here and created these problems. Marcus, what do you think?
It's irreparable. It's not going. I believe Deshaun Watson to sit out before he goes back and plays for the Houston Texans. I think this relationship is soured, and obviously it's from the top in Cal McNair and ownership. So when you look at Deshaun Watson making these statements that he's made by not saying much, but also knowing that what we see him wanting his future to be, there's no other conclusion to come to. And you have to earn that opportunity to be in this position that Deshaun Watson is in. He knew that it would be high trade value for him. He knew that this was probably the right time to move along after this latest thing transpired, outside of the litany of things that have taken place before this. So I believe he'll suit up for another team next year. And if the Houston Texans are smart, didn't I just show y'all what the hell they got for that DeAndre Hopkins trade? They need some more stuff. They need to just look forward to the future. I know it's hard to let Deshaun Watson go, and it's not the right thing to let a franchise player go, but they need to let it go. This is irreparable.
Jeff, you've been saying all along you wouldn't trade it no matter what. Have you changed that perspective at all?
I don't know, not at all. Listen, if I'm a GM there, a head coach there, I get what has happened with Deshaun Watson and the owner, and literally there's nothing you can do about it, right? You're both new to this whole organization, but you understand how valuable Deshaun Watson is, and I don't mean just as a quarterback. I mean as a man in the community and Houston, and what he does not only for his locker room, but for everybody around that city and for all the fans. To give him up and to allow him to go somewhere else without sitting out games or without forcing his hand, I would continue my trying to repair relationship for the next 6 months and just explain to him, we are going to give you everything we possibly can. Set out what you have to have for us for you to stay here, and let's work through this process. And I think that's what they have to go to, with true vulnerability and true transparency. Listen, we've screwed this thing up. What can we do to make you happy and get this thing back together, and then allow Deshaun Watson to dictate that transition, and then you have the guy that you want to build your team around. That's who you want to be running the Houston Texans in 10 years.
Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.